Bobby Stein, y'all. It's Wednesday, September 25th. For the last several days, I have been at the library going through microfilm editions of the Delta Democrat Times. Y'all, it takes me 1 month, will take me about 2 to 3 hours to get through. So it's pretty time consuming. I went through July and October of 1964 and what was happening in Greenville. So let's start out and we will see what happened in Greenville, Mississippi in 1964. The 1964 Civil Rights Bill was passed on June 10th, 1964, and went into effect July 2nd, 1964. It prohibited discrimination in public accommodations and federally funded programs. It strengthened the enforcement of voting rights and the desegregation of schools. Jimmy Thornton of Greenville, who later went on to become the head of the NAACP in Washington County, was the first person to test the civil rights law. He walked into the Downtowner Motor Inn restaurant and sat down and was quietly and politely served. He later told the DDT that he was nervous before he went in the restaurant and was glad that the patrons did not get upset. The summer of 1964 was called Freedom Summer. COFO, or the Council of Federated Organizations, sent 1,000 civil rights workers into the state of Mississippi to assist with voting registration of blacks and also to set up freedom schools. There was a 6-week summer program that included reading, writing, arithmetic, history, and civics. The Freedom Schools of Mississippi drew an estimated 2,500 to 3,000 students, ranging in age from 5 to 80, but most of them were between 10 and 18 years old. The 3 civil rights workers had disappeared from Philadelphia, Mississippi, and their bodies had not yet been found. The civil rights workers were pleased with the first day turnout for the voter registration drive. 100 blacks filled out applications to vote. Also, at that time, only 5% of the blacks in Washington County were registered to vote. In waterfront news, the marina bought 2 barges from the Corps of Engineers and added a 100-person dining room, also a store that would provide ice, gasoline, oil, and moorage space to the 100 boats and rafts that are docked there. I thought this was a neat article, y'all. This was about 3 teenagers from Washington County who in 1944 set a record for sailing down the Sunflower River on a flatboat. It took them 50 hours, and they took their own supplies. They were originally going to use a motor, but the motor hit a submerged log and sheared a pin. So 50 hours later, they set a record. They ended up at the bridge on Highway 61 South at Redwood. As of 1964, the record had not been broken. The 3 were Gerald Cropper, Bill Hendricks, and Sandy Toller. The Greenville Air Force Base had reopened in 1960 to train firefighters to put out aviation fuel fires. This article announced that that program was over and that for the rest of 1964, the base would be at a caretaker level, being closed in 1965. Who remembers the permanent members of the Delta Democrat Times reporting staff? There was Charlie Kerg, Ben Wasson, and Brody Crump, who were old timers. I also ran across the names Ken Tolliver, who turned out to be a double agent for Russia, Tom Oxnard, Gene Childs, and Foster Davis. Y'all, the towboat industry in 1964 was probably at its peak. And that year, the American Waterways operators had their yearly convention in Greenville. And it was nonstop partying for 3 or 4 days. Y'all, they were still making moonshine in 1964. This 1,000-gallon whiskey cooker was found at Estill. Okay, y'all, this was the newspaper ad, November 11th, 1964, in the Delta Democrat Times announcing the opening of the original Stein Mart on Washington Avenue in downtown Greenville. Such excitement. And the excitement lasted for many years. That's going to be it today, y'all. I hope you enjoyed the video. Y'all check back with me, and we will see you next video.